Hey guys, welcome to the channel and another video. Today I'm going to be watching the final installment of the Hobbit trilogy, The Battle of the Five Armies by Peter Jackson, starring Martin Freeman and Ian McKellen. The two previous films in the trilogy were good, but not amazing in comparison with the main Rings trilogy. But as standalone movies, they are pretty decent, albeit a little bloated and inconsistent in their tones. Last we saw, Smaug was on his way to destroy Lake Town in revenge for the dwarves trying to kill him. Bilbo was questioning whether he did the right thing to help the dwarves in this quest to regain their homeland.
What have we done?
Oh, misty eyes.
And it ends here! Anyways, Gandalf was trapped by Sauron, and Bard found the arrow that can defeat Smaug. I really don't know where the elves are currently, but as far as I remember, Azog's army was preparing for their battle against the dwarves. Thorin seemed to be losing it a little, showing signs of greed like his grandfather, but still, he's a competent leader for now. We'll see where the storyline goes to. I'm pretty excited for this one since we'll hopefully get some decent resolutions for the antagonists like Smaug and Azog, which I've been waiting for almost 6 hours. But before we get into it, to help support the channel, I have a Patreon page for full-length reviews and reactions to this movie and over 110 films, early access and weekly polls for what to watch next. You'll need your own copy to watch along. The link's in the description below, by the way. Please consider being a patron. Please subscribe to the channel. Click that bell icon for instant notifications. Do check out my other videos, like if you liked this video, dislike it if you didn't. With all that being said, let's get started. The Hobbit, The Battle of the Five Armies, Jackson, Freeman, McKellen. Let's go! This film does not start with the Shire team, unlike the other ones. The Hobbit. They didn't have the whole name. I'm a little sad, it's a little bittersweet. This is the last time we'll see a proper Peter Jackson Rings movie.
Come on! Quickly!
I want to know what you guys think of the new adaptation that's supposed to be made. I don't know too much about it.
We have no time. We must leave.
You hear me?
Okay, the dragon CGI is insane! Holy crap.
We're carrying too much weight.
Yeah, he only cares about gold. I would say it's similar to season 8 of Game of Thrones, but no, this is much better. Even nothing. We shouldn't compare anything to Game of Thrones season 8. Okay, now we're getting to see the dwarves. Thorin. Yeah, the way he keeps looking at Erebor, it's suspicious. And I have to say the volumetric effects of the fire, they're pretty convincing. No, my man, regular arrows won't do.
Duh.
Hey, what are you doing? Nothing can stop it, no.
This might.
Wow, I love the scenery.
Is that your child?
Dude has to do something. He has one shot. Oh, bullseye! Wow. So it's Bard, not the dwarves that kill Smaug. What a surprise!
What was that?
That was very satisfying.
Smaug is dead.
The dragon is dead.
The Battle of the Five Armies. So Smaug is not in the Battle of the Five Armies. Wow. So it's a completely different fight. And I really appreciate Peter Jackson showing us the aftermath. He survived.
We're leaving!
They are your people. You must go.
But he's in love.
Hirnin Legolas.
It's that stone.
Keep it. As promised.
Come here.
He's a hero. He literally saved all these people.
He brought the beast down. Thank you, This is a man of noble stock. A born leader. Do not call me that. Have you not had your fill of death?
Winter is upon us. Those who can stand, tend to the wounded. And those who have strength left, follow me.
Oh. Lake Town is in tatters.
Stop! Stop! You need to leave. Thorin, he's been down there for days. He doesn't sleep. He barely eats. He's not been himself.
Thorin is corrupted.
Gold beyond measure.
Any sign of it? Nothing yet.
And they're looking for the Arkenstone.
No one rests until it is found.
And Bilbo can see the obsession in Thorin's eyes.
Where will you go? There is only one place. Pull your once.
Ah, an irredeemable character. It's the Orc army. Is it me, or is the CGI a little better than the previous one? I think this had more time in production, so I can see some improvement in the CGI.
I ride north. Will you come with me?
To where?
To Gundabad.
I really need to familiarize myself with the map. By the way, I'm going to read the book, so which edition would you recommend? Do let me know, because it's been reprinted over and over again. Is that Galadriel? It is.
If you try to stop me, I will destroy you.
Very cool. Holy crap, it's the Nazgul. It's the Nazgul. I recognize the Nazgul by now. Elrond is here. I think this is the first time we're seeing Saruman doing something good.
The darkness has returned.
Stand up!
Radagast. Holy crap! Ho 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 ho!
You are named.
I love this imagery.
Go back to the...
And I had no idea Galadriel was this powerful.
Gondor should be warned. Go now. Leave Sauron to me.
What a bad idea, leaving Sauron to Saruman. We all know what happens.
You must summon our friends, Bird and Beast. The battle for the mountain is about to begin.
Oh man, I can't wait for the epic battle.
Take this. If what you say is true, then you'll need it more than I.
Am I not the king?
Any man who has to proclaim himself as a king is no true king.
If Thorin had the Arkenstone, would it help?
I fear it would make him worse.
What is that?
The Shire music.
One day it'll grow. And every time I look at it, I'll remember.
Wow, that's beautiful.
Keep moving. Sire! So, the company of Thorin Oakenshield survived.
The people of Lake Town have nothing. They came to us in need. They have lost everything.
Good point, Gilly.
Those who have lived through Dragonfire should rejoice. They have much to be grateful for.
He's boarding up and locking themselves in, refusing to help. A lot of people have complained that I've said, that's CGI, that's CGI, that's CGI a little too much, so I'm toning that down. I'm not going to mention the CGI too much here.
My Lord Frandu, we did not look to see you here.
What a wonderful creature.
I came to reclaim something of mine.
Mutual interest.
Why does the king under the mountain fence himself in? We have not come to rob you.
That armed host will attack this mountain if we do not come to terms.
Your threats do not sway me.
I love how both these characters are framed here.
Why should I honor such terms?
Because you gave us your word.
It's war.
We are, in fact, outnumbered.
Not for much longer.
He will give us nothing.
They understand only one thing. Are you with us?
Actions speak louder than words, and that's what Jackson just showed.
This vest is made of silver steel. No blade can pierce it.
I think Frodo had something similar.
I am betrayed. The Arkenstone. One of them has taken it.
Paranoia. Step 1 of craziness.
Make way! Armies of orcs are on the move. These are fighters. They have been bred for war. Where are they?
These bats are bred for one purpose. For war.
They're closer to the mountain than we think.
This is a fight they cannot win.
That won't stop them.
Hey, Bilbo's here.
I came to give you this. Now, Thorin values this stone above all else. In exchange for its return, I believe he will give you what you are owed. There will be no need for war.
Very reasonable.
We have this.
The stone is real. I gave it to them.
Dude, no!
I took it as my 14th share.
Throw him from the rampart! Curse you! No! Curse be the wizard! Return him to me!
Keep the stone. Sell it. Ectelion of Gondor will give you a good price for it.
I will kill you!
Everybody's against Thorin now.
Who is that?
Thorin's cousin.
What are they like?
I've always found Thorin the more reasonable of the two.
Oh no, that's bad news.
A legion of orcs march on the mountain.
Stand your men down. I'll deal with Ironfoot and his rabble.
Holy crap, I don't think they're even goats. These are rams. Right? Wow. I have never seen arrows like that. Holy crap, they're actually fighting. Holy crap.
Oh, come on!
They have no choice but to band together against the orcs.
We to do nothing.
I said, stand down!
Holy crap. The elves do help. What a gorgeous shot that was. They built catapults on top of trolls. Wow. is Alfred up to? Hey. Looks like you're taking after your father. What a hero.
Women and children only. I need every man fighting. And my sword is yours to command.
Why don't I believe him? Oh.
You buggers! Where's Thorin?
Since when do we forsake our own people? You cannot see what you have become.
Son of Thro!
I am not my grandfather. Not my grandfather.
I'm not my grandfather.
You are changed. Thorin, I am not my grandfather.
Is he hallucinating? Is his mind clear now? Did he have a revelation? I hope so.
Thorin.
That's brave, but they're so outnumbered. And they're actually pushing back.
Hail to thy king.
I say we stand with our men in life and in death. Alfred Lickspill.
You're not a man. You're a weasel.
I hope you've got a plan. Aye. We're going to take out their leader.
Ah, that's satisfying. This final film is definitely better paced than the previous two.
Get up. Get away from me. The Master's mantle was there for the taking.
What a satisfying, I hope, death to that character. And I realize Azog might be the primary antagonist of this trilogy, not Smaug.
There is a second army. Bolg leads a force of Gundamad orcs. They are almost upon us.
Oh, that is the Fifth Army. I was so confused. Now I know the Five Armies. The two Orc armies, the Human Army, the Elf Army, and the Dwarf Army. It makes sense.
You will not turn away.
Get out of my way. What you feel for that dwarf is not real.
Kihan Naithathon. Ulukenithon.
Thorin!
Oh no. Philly. The sword is glowing, orcs are near. Legolas is just so awesome, man. He's just a killing machine when he needs to be. didn't expect both the brothers to die. And I love that Peter Jackson didn't show any dialogue. Unspoken words are the best at conveying emotion when the actors can pull it off, and holy crap, that was a great scene. Azog's son is dead. It's the eagle! And the skin changer. It starts with a B, obviously, but I forgot the skin changer's name. Is Azog dead? I knew it! I think they both just killed each other. Nah, I don't think he'll make it.
You're here. You did what only a true friend would do. I was too blind to see it.
Good for you.
Farewell, Master Burglar. Go back to your books. Plant your trees. Watch them grow.
He gets to die a hero's death. I respect that. Him overcoming his greed was a great story arc. Probably the strongest character arc in the entire film was Thorin's. And I definitely felt that emotional impact Peter Jackson wanted us to feel, even for Toriel and Killy.
I cannot go back.
Go north. Find the Dunedain. There's a young ranger amongst them. You should meet him. His father, Arathon, was a good man.
Wait a second.
What is his name?
He is known in the wild as Strider. You must discover for yourself.
Aragorn. That's why he was alone in the Lord of the Rings and not with the other elves.
If this is love, I do not want it. Why does it hurt so much?
Because it was real.
He's acknowledging it. I like the picturesque background with the sun rising or setting. Now he's immortal. And the brothers are here too. They're being honored. Ah, the cousin. He's the rightful heir.
You are welcome anytime. Don't bother knocking.
That was a good callback to the first film. And the change in scenery, man.
Magic rings should not be used lightly, Bilbo. Don't take me for a fool. I know you found one in the goblin tunnels, and I've kept my eye on you ever since.
He knows.
You needn't worry about that ring. It fell out of my pocket during the battle. I lost it.
You're a very fine person. Mr. Baggins.
Oh, that was a lie. And I think Gandalf secretly knows the ring is safe with Bilbo because he's so good, but it does corrupt everybody at the
No, thank you.
And what about very old friend?
I love how this film ties in with the main trilogy. That was quite a journey, guys. And a fairly satisfying conclusion to The Hobbit. Thank you for the recommendation, guys. Thank you for telling me to watch it for myself and then decide. Okay, I took some time to collect my thoughts. That was a fairly satisfying ending to the Hobbit trilogy. I finally got to see the deaths of both Smaug and Azog. I waited for like 6 hours, more than 6 hours for it, and it was worth it. The Smaug storyline did surprise me since I thought that he was the primary antagonist of the trilogy, but it turned out to be Azog. Peter Jackson did a better job with the final film than the previous one, and the overall intended impact did make it through at the end. The strengths of the film are exactly the same as the previous two. The strengths included the cinematography, some unexpected twists and turns, the humor, the entire production design, and the score. Whereas the weaknesses included the over-reliance on CGI and the pacing. Although the pacing was better than the previous ones, it still dragged on a little longer than necessary, especially in the third act. As I probably mentioned a dozen times before, compared to the main Rings trilogy, it was fairly weak, but as a standalone trilogy made for a younger audience, it was pretty darn good. Let's start with the directing by Peter Jackson and the writing by him, Philippa Boyens, Fran Walsh, and Guillermo del Toro. This might have been the first film that does not start at the Shire. That was a great choice by the team, as it really caught me off guard. No time is wasted at all as we see Smaug wreak havoc in Lake Town. He literally burned everything. All seems to be lost till Bane hands his father the Black Arrow. I really didn't expect Smaug to die this early in the film, and certainly not by the hands of Bard. And although Smaug's death was epic and pretty satisfying to watch, I honestly expected his character to do more. I mean, he was built as a legendary dragon, and him having such a small role in the final film, it was a tad disappointing. I read a couple of comments on my previous criticisms of the plot, and it was pointed out to me that this is exactly how Tolkien wrote the story. While I appreciate that and I get it, I felt like Tolkien wrote a children's book, and it should have been adapted as such. Instead, a very serious tone was taken to portray his words. I think this trilogy has a crisis of tone and identity. On one hand, it was clearly a children's book with humor, songs, and adventure, but on the other hand, the creative team had a difficult job in reconciling the serious and playful aspects of the story. I felt like choosing a lane and sticking to it would have resulted in a better trilogy overall. Regardless, Peter Jackson honestly did do a good job with the source material. I have no doubts that it was extremely difficult to adapt, and I have to commend his work here. The world he brought to life, it's remarkable, and I don't believe any other director can bring Middle-earth to life like he did. The film's plot was more or less straightforward though, with Thorin almost losing his sanity with greed like his grandfather, as he goes back on his word of sharing the gold with the Wood Elves and the men of Lake Town. Just as they are about to go to war, the Orc army arrives. After some infighting, everybody bands together against the Orcs and they're defeated. Thorin realizes the errors of his ways and dies as he kills Azog. His death was handled well, and so were the bold choices of to kill Killy and Philly. That really made this film better than average, as it provided some much needed motivation and emotional impact. Furthermore, the humor in this one was way better handled compared to the previous two. It really did feel natural and not out of place at all. So awesome. Finally, I felt like Bilbo. Bilbo Baggins was a secondary character in his own movie. Although he did do some significant things like deliver the Arkenstone to Gandalf, Thranduil, and Bard, I felt like he did not have too much screen time in this one. I really wish I could have seen more of his character, and I liked the way he kept the ring hidden and how Gandalf secretly knew he had it. He knew it was probably safe in the hands of Bilbo, at least for a while. It really set up the story of the main trilogy, and it was amazing to see everything come together at the end. The cinematography, as usual, was excellent. This is something that nobody can take away from these films. They are breathtakingly gorgeous. Every new location seemed creatively made and excellently designed. Everything from the wide landscape shots to the intimate close-up ones, they were shot perfectly. So no complaints in this department. The editing was considerably better as well. At 2.5 hours, this film was the best paced of the bunch. I did feel like the third act dragged a little, as there were multiple will this character die scenes. I felt like those particular scenes were used a little too much, and some of them were a little hit and miss. Anyways, it was still way better than I expected. The score by Howard Shore was very good too. I don't believe that there was a ton of new compositions for this one though. Regardless, since the music made for the trilogy was excellent, it really worked well here and it was used expertly. The Shire music popped up every now and then when Bilbo's goodness was being shown, and I loved the slight hint of the main Rings theme at the end when it was revealed that Bilbo in fact had the ring. That was great. The CGI in the film was slightly better than the predecessors. I believe the reason to be its longer production time. Jackson simply had more time to work on and improve the CGI in this one, and it really showed. From Smaug's skin textures to the shadow work to the little details on the epic battlefield, they were pretty good. I still don't think that they will age particularly well in the future. I could tell they were CGI, but still very decent. The fire in this film was rendered very realistically with the volumetric fog and diffusion work. The set design and props, they were on par with the previous ones too, so again, great work in this department. Bilbo Baggins was played by Martin Freeman, and he was excellent in his role as usual. This is an example of perfect casting, although he had a much smaller role in the final film. He was excellent in every scene he was in. His physical acting and his facial expressions were very convincing, and I loved his character came full circle at the end. Thorin was played by Richard Armitage. He had the most satisfying character arc of the film, in my opinion, and his performance reflected that. The way he overcame his greed and finally joined the battle as the true Dwarf King was very satisfying, and his death, although not surprising, was very, very gracefully handled. His character was on the verge of being irredeemable, but his death changed that. I don't think it could have been done any other way. Now he's immortal and sadly better off for it. Finally, Ian McKellen. Ian McKellen played Gandalf the Grey. Like Ian Holm or Martin Freeman, I don't see anybody else in this role. Another perfect casting choice and an amazing performance by the actor. Unfortunately, he had a very minor role in this film, and I honestly wished he did more here. He was not part of any battle or any fight. All he does is warn the others that the orcs were on their way. Yes, that's important, but other characters like Bard or Thorin had more significance to the main storyline. They affected more stuff. Anyways, I loved McKellen's performance in all 6 films. He tied them together, and it's sad to see him for the last time. Overall, The Hobbit, The Battle of the Five Armies, was a fairly satisfactory conclusion. to this story. We got to see the end of Smaug and Azog and the rise of Sauron. This film, like the previous ones, had more good than bad. Now that I've completed the trilogy and I watched them for myself, I can say that I'm pretty glad that I experienced them. They are clearly not as bad as some have told me. That is somewhat true when comparing them to the main trilogy, which is a masterpiece and a landmark of film. But as a standalone trilogy, it was fun, entertaining, and had more twists and turns than I expected. Peter Jackson did a very good job here, especially with the limitations he had. Although the film had the same issues of the previous two, it definitely improved upon them. Anyways, thank you for watching. I have a Patreon page. Considering a patron, subscribe to the channel. Click that bell icon for instant notifications. Like if you liked this video, dislike it if you didn't. I will see you in the next one. Bye.